we're going to be watching Leaflit's music video called Put Them in the Box, which is about Asmongold. And one thing I'll get out of the way right now is that this is a video that has AI used as part of the creation. I don't know exactly to what extent it is. I mean, at the very least, I know a lot of the images are AI generated and the vocals are AI generated too. I don't know how much it's being used. And just my opinion on AI in general is that it's kind of a case of the toothpaste is already out of the tube. AI is not going anywhere. And anyone being vehemently anti-AI, I feel like it's not something that you can really sustain. Like, it's you're never going to stop AI in its tracks. But there we go. Yeah, so like I was saying, sorry, for those watching on the highlights channel, I realized I had to fix something on my end, and I never, and so I had to cut that out. That's why you saw a really harsh cut right there. But yeah, like I was saying, AI is kind of here to stay. We're not getting rid of it. So I think a better outlet is to try to figure out how to use it in a more ethical way, or how to accept it in a certain way, because I think it's easier to convince people to use it in the right way than it is to convince people to not use it at all. And from what I've seen, a little bit I know is that in this video particularly, it's not like she put a prompt in and let it do its thing. She actually used it as a tool for creation, which I think is kind of the way forward with generative AI in general. So I'm curious to see this. And when it comes to Asmongold, I have relatively mixed feelings about him, but it's more because of the thing I've been talking about recently, is that when I watch a creator and they get known for something that is non-political, and then they start being political, I am pretty averse to that. I don't really like it. If I started following somebody for their video game content and they start talking about politics, I don't give a shit. That's kind of how I feel about Asmongold. I think he's a likable guy. I think he's very entertaining, and he seems like a decent dude overall, but I just do not give a single solitary fuck about his political opinions. But let's see how this goes. And when it comes to Leaflit, she is a more political creator. I don't always agree with her politics. Again, you don't have to know what my politics are. It doesn't really matter. But she's generally an entertaining person as well. And I think usually, even when I disagree, she's fairly thoughtful about her political analysis. I'm curious to see what this is all about. I've seen a few seconds of it, and I'm excited. Just a quick reminder that you're watching the Highlights channel right now. If you want to catch these streams live or want to check out my more high-effort analytical content, consider checking out the main channel linked in the description. And honestly, I will say, I know the joke is that Asmongold is kind of in his room in the dark with the blue of the monitor glowing, but the blue effect this has actually looks really nice with this art style. Like I actually really like just the visuals of this so far, and also the music, kind of in a rock / metal kind of direction, which is definitely something I really like. And oh wait, and I didn't even look at the little things. The Leaflit featuring The Bald, Put Them in the Box, Beep Boop Wea Boop 2, Angel Sword Studios. Okay, I like that. Oh, and that's oh my god, that unlocked a memory in the background. That's Superman from, what was it, like 2016, 2017 when that was going down? Where that was a whole thing. I'm not gonna get into it, but that was like very viral a while back. I'll be honest, I'm not recognizing most of this stuff in the background. Okay, I'm liking this. And even though this is probably AI music, I don't know, I'm a metalhead. I like I like metal music a lot, so this is kind of right up my alley. Okay, and I will also acknowledge there is a little bit of an artifact right here that I don't know if what happened. I don't know exactly how she created this music video, how much AI she used in what capacity, but this is kind of thing, you got to fix this in post. Like you got to catch these things and fix them. Because I think one of the hallmarks of good AI usage is fixing the mistakes that AI makes. Because at the moment, AI still has issues. It's not going to catch everything. It's not going to be perfectly consistent. That's where the human touch can come in and fix things. And Leaflit should know better. Hasan dog thing, and okay, so the animation change is a little bit jarring, but it's also, oh my god, I will say, I've said this before, but I have been a Hasan disliker for a very long time, ever since he had his disagreements with JXE over his reaction content. As those who are watching my videos will know, at least my videos on the highlights channel or my live streams, I do like reaction content, but I believe in doing it in an ethical way. I believe that I, as a reactor, have an obligation to the original creators to add to their content, so I'm not just taking their work and benefiting off it for my own metrics. I feel like if I'm not talking a significant amount and adding to the video, I am basically stealing. Hasan does not do that. He has been known to literally just get the fuck up and walk off, and that was the basis of his disagreement with JXE. I've disliked him since then because I think he made a real ass of himself. So when everybody started disliking him over the dog thing, where he was shocking Kaya, I mean, I obviously felt bad for the dog because no dog deserves to go through that, but I felt so vindicated. I'm like, yes, everybody now hates the person I hate. And it just made me so happy. And also the memes have been really good. Okay, there's Asmongold with the Dr. Pepper. Shot collar. Oh, and the rat. I don't know. I mean, again, I'm not super down deep on the Asmongold lore. When it comes to rats, I mean, I know he lives in filth, basically. He definitely has some executive dysfunction issues, which mine aren't quite as bad as his, but I can definitely relate. The only rat story I know for sure is he had the dead rat alarm clock, which, again, that if you've never seen that clip, definitely go look it up on YouTube. It is the wildest story ever, where basically he had a dead rat in his home. And one of the things he would use is every day when the light would shine through his window, it would hit the rat, and that would make it smell, and the smell would wake him up. And so he essentially used a dead rat as an alarm clock for a while. Again, like, Asmongold, as funny as that is, I mean, I know it's kind of like not a funny thing, but it's also fucking funny. Like, the way I explained that was completely nonsensical, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Okay, and from what I heard, I think this is actually a picture of Asmongold's room that was used as a reference for this AI image. So that's one of those things I was talking about, where one of the things about AI is using it as a tool, not as a replacement for actual creative work. And that's an example of something they're doing, where they're using AI to create a specific image, not just generating a background, to make it actually a little bit more coherent, make it something that actually fits what the entire project is all about. Another death threat, I wish Asmongold would die. It would be the best Christmas gift. Asmongold needs to die before I kill myself. I'm being so dead ass, like I genuinely despise him. Terrible human being. Yeah, and that's one of those things where I can understand there's criticisms of Asmongold, but also I don't think he deserves the level of vitriol that he gets. Granted, when he comes to his political stuff, sometimes he makes some pretty outrageous statements where I think he kind of lets the political brain rot get to him, and he basically speaks without thinking sometimes, and he sometimes says things that are a little bit too off the cuff, a little bit too extreme, which can stoke some of the vitriol against him. But again, I don't think he should be living in people's heads the way he does. He's just another content creator. If you don't like him, just leave him be. That's kind of my opinion on things. But also, I think it's funny. I think Leaflit got these images by just searching Asmongold die, because those are the ones that are highlighted. That's really funny to me. Asmongold legitimately deserves to die. When Asmongold and Tectone die. Okay, well, Tectone's another interesting character, because he's another person I think is very, very entertaining. I don't care about his political stuff either. Again, when content creators just start talking about politics, I just do not give a fuck. Tectone is also the kind of person where I feel like he likes to stir shit up, where, like, again, I think he gets a disproportionate level of vitriol, but at the same time, he also kind of likes to start fires. And so it's almost kind of an expected outcome that people are going to be vitriolic against him. Which, again, you don't deserve, like, actual death threats or anything like that. But I also kind of understand why people dislike Tectone as much as It's one of those things where there's legitimate criticisms about the guy you can make. It's perfectly fair to dislike him, but also don't let him live rent free in your head, and don't be like a total gremlin about it. Okay, let me see. That is one thing I think the AI. I mean, it's funny having the mask Wojak there. I don't know what it's actually called, but I think the whole image here is funny. I think the mouth animation is not very good. That's something I think could have been fixed in post. Also, it does look like fake Chinese in the background, which that's another common thing where AI, when it comes to kanji, it doesn't always look very good. Or at least it looks kind of believable. It looks like it's good, but then if you actually know anything about kanji, you know they're actually usually nonsensical. So that's another thing. When it comes, I mean, AI has gotten a lot better at generating text than it used to be, and text in all sorts of languages. But I don't know. That's another thing. Like this, I think this is something that could have been edited in post. But that's just me. And granted, I know I kind of autistically catch things in the background of videos, like to a degree that probably most normal people do not. Like when we were watching Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, and I noticed that they misspelled China in the background. How many people are going to notice that? But that's just kind of how my brain works. The Communist Manifesto. Someone should kill him, not me, though. Again, the text is a little bit fucked up. Honestly, the fact that it's all fucked up on the screen in the same way, it kind of actually works for the stylistic time of things. But, okay, let's see. Till feast, foul, I can't read that. African Meslo, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be something. I don't know if that's supposed to be a recognizable person. But then there's the Communist Manifesto there. Okay, that... And again, the text is a little bit blurry. Let me see if I can actually turn the... the quality is at 1080p already. So this just seems like blurriness caused by the AI generation itself and not because of the video. But yeah, I don't know. This is actually a pretty nice looking scene overall. It's just some of the background stuff is not making sense to me. And honestly, this is actually one of the better AI voices for music I've heard. Like, it has a lot of just the metal texture to it that I do tend to like. I really like these harsh, like distortion voices when you just use that for emphasis. And I think this is working pretty well. And I'm not going to comment on the she/they thing. Again, pronouns are a little bit too close to political for me, and I have a no politics on YouTube rule, so I'm not going to touch that. But also, actually, okay, so to be fair, I will say they're using she/they as a joke because, you know, that's part of kind of the conflict Asmongold has been involved in. But this is actually pretty great character design. Let's be real. This is I actually really like kind of they have it's almost like a not, I can't remember I don't remember the actual name, but kind of the mixture of like the leather and spikes with the pink and frills actually kind of really works here. And generally speaking, with this is an anime kind of art style. The split hair color, honestly, I think it works better in anime than it does in real life usually. So I think this character design actually made this character look really badass, which is kind of hilarious, and I think it was the opposite of what was intended. Oh my god, that is horrifying. I love it. It's adorable and horrifying at the same time. It's amazing. Let's be honest, that wouldn't happen. He's the Roach King. Again. And it's one of those things where I like how even the people who like Asmongold will kind of make fun of his living situation and make fun of the, you know, and again, it's one of those things where it's funny on the surface that, you know, the Roach King, the dead rat alarm clock, all that stuff. But also it is one of those things that I hope he eventually kind of figures all that out and actually manages to clean himself. Like, he doesn't have to live in like a perfectly clean home. Like, I don't keep things neat and organized, but like, you know, he probably has some mental health issues that cause him to live the way that he does. And I genuinely hope that he can figure all that out at some point.
But I'm just sitting here killing fucking time. I've got the infinity gauntlet of the broken and the mad. The dipersexual.
Okay, I gotta actually go. Let me see that. Okay, I want to see what these pictures all are. Okay, so communist. Okay, that makes sense. Then, you know, a Wild West. So it looks like a blue-haired older woman in cheetah print with thorn glasses in the Wild West. I don't understand what that's a reference to. Okay, an anarchist rioting in, looks like a suburban neighborhood. Okay, yep, that also makes sense, given the Asmongold door. A homeless person in a dilapidated area. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be a reference to. Learning. Oh, that's because of the whole thing with the Somalian immigrants. That's another thing I'm not going to talk about. It's a little too close to politics for my liking. You can come to your own opinions on that. Okay, then there's the stereotypical blue-haired, septum-piercing Starbucks barista. And okay, and then the background posters are mostly nonsensical. That's common in AI-generated stuff. A furry, of course. You know, why not? Although, I will say the guy walking the furry does seem to be fairly normal looking. I mean, if you discount the fact that he's like all denim. Oh, and then the anime edgelord in the trench coat and katanas. I like that. And then another furry doing the diaper age play stuff, which that's another thing I don't get. It's one of those things where, you know what, if you're not hurting anybody, I don't really care, but also I reserve the right to judge you because as I say, I don't kink shame, but I do kink judge, which I know is rich coming from me, but at the same time, it's one of those things. Okay, so I think that was the last one. Okay, so yeah, and I will say one of the things there's, again, I'm not going to complain too hard with people who are doing weird stuff that's not hurting anybody, but at the same time, like, why do so many of them feel the need to make it such a public thing? Because, again, as much as I am kind of known to be pretty degenerate, I don't know, when it comes to anything I actually engage in, I generally keep that to myself. I feel like a lot of times fetishes are something that are meant for the bedroom. Between you and any partners you may have who are, you know, the person you're sharing that with. That's how it usually tends to be for a lot of people. I don't understand the desire to publicize your own sexual interest. It never made a whole lot of sense to me. But then again, I also, despite the fact that I have kind of this degenerate reputation that I talk about hentai and all this stuff, I actually do consider sex to be like an important thing that people should share with the people they care about. Again, I'm a lot more vanilla than people think I am, but I don't know. I understand people have different mindsets from me, so I just don't get it. Oh, I remember that woman. That was a classic. I'll show. This is the woman who was at Donald Trump's first inauguration back in 2016. I remember that this woman, as soon as they inaugurated him, she just goes, "No!" And it's one of those things where whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, whether you love Trump or hate him, doesn't matter. This was a funny video because it was just so over the top, it seemed like a joke. And also I saw a Metal Scream remix of this where they just layered her voice on top of metal vocals, and it was kind of amazing. Also, another thing interesting, a lot of these animations, I know it's AI generated, a lot of it looks very similar to like rotoscope animation, which is very interesting to me. It's a very unique style that doesn't always work, but like when it does, it just makes something very noteworthy. It's interesting. I'm enjoying this actually. Misfits. Okay. Okay, and I'll be honest, I'm not like a huge follower of Asmongold. I've seen some of his stuff here and there. I've watched him a lot less since he started getting political, but I don't understand the joke about pliers. So that's some of these are definitely going over my head.
So put 'em in the box. Let the walls be cold and white. Throw the keys
Oh, that's Rev.
and end this mental blight. Institutilize the rot.
This is very, and this is actually a very catchy, the hook right here, the very catchy chorus. I'm liking this.
Rise again. I'm the harbinger of logic.
I wonder what the state asylum or something. I don't know who this is supposed to be, and I don't know what the olives are supposed to represent. That's probably a joke that is completely going over my head. Oh, there's Nextaku.
The world will be a paradise, clean and silent land.
I don't know who those are supposed to be.
When every screaming
I'm trying to think, because those are actual hiragana up there. I don't know if that's actually supposed to say anything for real, or because it's actually surprising because the text is actual hiragana back there, but I'm not sure. I think I saw another artifact. Yeah, okay, so most of this is actually pretty good. Again, the stuff in the boxes, it's blurry, so you don't really need to see what they say. These two signs are hero and thank you, which again, it's silly, but they oh, this guy looks like he's having a bit of a stroke, but this sign, I know it gets covered by his gauntlet, so which might have actually been intentional, but that one not so great. Also, yeah, anatomy is not anatomying there. The one thing I still think that AI has not quite gotten figured out is facial expressions. Like this looks fine. The one for Asmongold looks fine, but the background, they all give a very uncanny valley vibe, and like that is like, and part of it is the eyes because you can see most of them look like they're having medical issues at the moment. Like the fact that it just looks like some of them is like drooping, but also I think part of it is just the over excited animated face. They look like they're putting on a face. It is so creepy. AI has not yet figured out how to make it look natural. And I'm not sure what the technical reasons behind that are, but it might just be because they're recognizing patterns, but they can't really figure out how the little exceptions actually kind of differentiate between things. Ooh, I like that. Okay, and again, I'm not sure who any of these are supposed to be referencing. Yeah, I will say Blue Sky is one of those places where it's like, I feel like the people who say Blue Sky is so much better than Twitter are one of those people who they have the same level of political brain rot as a lot of the people on Twitter, just on the other side of the spectrum. So like, I feel like if, like the only sane position is that both are complete cesspits, but at least Twitter has more than just the political slop. It's basically the people who want political slop on the other side all go to Blue Sky, and then nobody else is there. Because I actually did create a Blue Sky account just because, you know, as a content creator, it's something I wanted to have. I stopped using it after like a day because I just like, yeah, this is just not the platform where I'm going to really have any kind of use out of it.
Every basement dwelling loser, every blue-haired pimp, advocating murder in the name of being kind, while Section 40 leaves the justice fucking blind.
Okay, so that's Tectone. Did Tectone get swatted? So that's, I mean, I imagine that this must be referencing something that actually happened, because I don't really follow Tectone super closely. Watch some of his videos every once in a while, but again, a little bit too political for my enjoyment. Okay, because I've said this multiple times already, but when it comes to political creators, it has to be somebody who made their name doing political commentary, because they tend to approach things a little bit different from people who just kind of want to make content out of politics. But, and also, I think I saw something, yeah. Okay, yeah, there's the, this. And that's something I've also talked about in the past, is that I do feel like the modern political landscape has kind of led to a lot of people on both sides of the aisle dehumanizing the people that they disagree with, where they are just kind of accepting of violence against strangers because they differ with them. They believe in different things, where, as I've said in the past, I think like 90% of people can agree on like the majority of things. where they disagree is kind of the pragmatic side of things, like how do you actually make this thing happen, or most people want the best for the most people. Like, most people want the world to be as good as possible and want people to generally live happy, healthy, peaceful lives. And the disagreements tend to come about with how do you make that happen? But the way kind of political radicalism happens on all ends of the spectrum is that you kind of get to people who disagree are not just disagreeing with you. They don't have different ideas from you. They want bad things for you. And that kind of leads to people being okay when people on the other side of the political spectrum die, which is not a good thing. We shouldn't be doing that, but that's a problem that is beyond my means to fix. And then kind of switching from that, this is obviously Dan Clancy. He is, I will say that even from my perspective, Dan Clancy is a total gooner who honestly also does not seem to be running Twitch very well. There are a lot of issues with how Twitch has been lately. Like TwitchCon in particular was an absolute disaster. As I've said in the past, larger companies and larger organizations should be held to higher standards in their events. It's different when there's slacking at like a college club organizing an event versus slacking with a multinational, multi-billion-dollar corporation like Twitch, which is owned by Amazon. Because the fact that TwitchCon did not have proper security, like they had volunteer security, and there's like a consistent issue of people getting assaulted basically at TwitchCon. Recently with this last TwitchCon, there was the Emaru situation, which was absolutely unacceptable. The fact that their security allowed that to happen in the way that they did shows that it was just pure incompetence, and Dan Clancy just did not seem to really care. And the fact that they did not cooperate with police to get this guy arrested, and they gave him like a fucking month-long ban on Twitch as his punishment at the start. Like, that is absolutely outrageous. Although the funny side of things is that Dan Clancy is, whenever he shows off a Twitch feature and like shows on his phone, he'll always show his own Twitch account. And one thing you'll see is all of his recommended are like e-girls, are like the women who kind of stream wearing skimpy outfits, because that's clearly all he watches. So that's what he gets fed in his algorithm. And that's always really funny because, like, I'll be honest, I might be a total gooner, but I don't watch those types of Twitch streams because I feel like if I want to get my rocks off, there are more direct ways of doing that. Is that like the pondering the orb meme, but just Asmongold pondering the earth? Huh. Is that Harry Potter? No, that might be Hasan. Oh, that's Rogan. Yeah, I will say I'm actually, again, a lot of this stuff is stuff I don't want to comment on just because of the political nature of it. And as I always say, I do have a no politics on YouTube rule because, like I complain about other political creators or creators who started off apolitical but then started jumping into politics, made me not really care about them. I am aware that I started out not talking about politics and that most of the people watching me do not give a shit about my political position, and the ones that do shouldn't give a shit about my political positions. And I do know that I actually do have people across the political spectrum following me, which I think is really cool. So I don't want, but I mean, I know that the things they're referencing, where the Black Lives Matter stuff, that's talking about the organization specifically, not the overall movement, where the people at the top of the Black Lives Matter organization did end up stealing a lot of money from their followers and didn't actually use it for the things they said they were going to use it for. And then there's Frogan, who is a streamer who is currently in an altercation she's one of kind of I think she was a moderator for Hasan, so that's kind of how she kind of became enemies with his enemies. And she's now in a legal dispute with Ethan Klein, H3H3, and lately she's been having financial troubles. She's been begging for money on stream, all that kind of stuff. So that's what that's all referencing.
They hate, and I'm the one they adore. Success is measured in decades, like the prophecy of doom.
One thing I will say, I like how just unapologetically Chunibyo this whole thing is. Like, it's very edgy, like anime edgy, and it's very self-aware of that fact. Like, again, it's one of those things where anime edginess is one of those things where it hits a lot better if it's just if they know what they're doing, if they're acknowledging it. That's why like Eminence and Shadows is so great, because it knows exactly what it's doing and it's doing it on purpose, compared to something that actually takes itself a little bit too seriously. I feel like this video is definitely not taking itself seriously, and I appreciate that.
If you strike me down today, you'll be singing a different tune. A million more will rise, a million more will fight.
Okay, I do recognize some of those.
A million more will rise.
Okay, so let's see. I don't recognize this Crusader. I'm not sure who these two people are. I think that's Kitsunero right there. She's a good creator. I like her stuff. I don't know who that is either. Okay, so I recognize fewer of these people than I thought I did. Because for a second I saw the purple and I initially thought it was Cha-Cha, but then no, it's not. It's not.
Million more will fight. You can't kill an idea.
And I think that's Kirsha. Again, I'm not too familiar with her. I know she's a political creator. I think I've seen like one of her videos. Although I've heard she's actually very nice behind the scenes, even though she kind of is a little bit aggressive in her content.
Petty child is mine.
I don't recognize these people.
I don't fear the grave.
Okay, I actually really like this. The background continually shifting. It's a nice effect. Wait, and is that the guy from? It looks like not quite, because it's not exactly the same, but it looks like the one of the bosses from Sekiro, the guy on horseback, the guy who yells his name before he attacks you. I can't remember his name. Because it wasn't Genichiro, because that was the first villain, but that wasn't him. That was I just can't remember his name.
I was born, I was nothing. There's nothing left to save. But while I'm here, I'll be the mirror of your soul. A cynical king in a roach-infested hole.
Okay, that's supposed to be Dr. Pepper, but the text is all fucked up. Doesn't matter a whole lot since his hand is covering it, but it is something I noticed. And I haven't talked a whole lot about the music, but as I said, I'm a big metal guy. I really like metal. This is the type of music that I actually listen to in my just regular life. So I do quite enjoy this. I'm enjoying the sound, just aesthetics. Not the aesthetics is not the right word, but just the sonic nature of the song is good. The lyrics are pretty funny as well. As far as the music itself, it's nothing too complex. It's kind of just following basic formulaic stuff, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's not ever going to be the kind of music that kind of is considered great, musically speaking. But that's because it's not really trying to be. It's like the writing of Demon Slayer, where Demon Slayer is good, but it's very safe about its writing. It doesn't really try to take any risks as far as the actual storytelling goes. It just follows the formulas, but does it really closely and does it pretty well. So it's good, but it'll never be great. That's kind of how I feel about the music here. It's following all the formulas. It's playing itself very safe. So it's good, but it'll never be great. And that's, I don't think, is necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think she was going for amazing music. I think Leaflit was more going for a funny song, making a lot of jokes about Asmongold. Well, I gotta see what that is. Drops on big day, huge drama, X-Demon release. ICE shoots bystander in Minnesota. US seizes Russia. Okay. I like this as one of those things. Again, it's not taking itself seriously. It's over the top for the point of being, for the sake of being funny, and I'm enjoying this. And I think it's Asmongold battling Hasan. Although it's funny because Hasan just keeps, whenever it shows Hasan, half the time he just looks like fucking Harry Potter. And oh god, the faces on this one are just either just blurred to the point of non-existence, or they're just so creepy. Like, oh, this still frame is making me uncomfortable. White fragility. Okay. I'll be honest, just as a design, That's almost close to being like a really good character design for an actual like JRPG villain. Oh, so just put a thumb in it. I know that's Kentucky Ballistics merch. So that looks like Brandon Herrera. I'm not sure who these two are. Although Trigger Discipline. Oh, okay, granted. It looks like his figure is somehow behind the trigger, but still inside the trigger guard. Brandon Herrera does have Trigger Discipline, but he's also holding it by the grip, because I don't it doesn't even look like it actually has a trigger. But yeah, okay, so yeah, for those who are confused about what I'm doing here, back when I was watching the anime in preparation for my most recent video on the main channel and the upcoming video on the main channel, which it's still being worked on. It's going slower than I'd like, but it's still going. One of the things I would talk about is whenever anime characters would have guns, most of the time they had horrific gun safety where they were just pointing it at wherever they wanted and they always had their finger on the fucking trigger. Amusingly, except one of the few that didn't do that was Angel Beats. They actually had good trigger discipline there, but that's also a show where dying is a minor inconvenience, so they didn't even need trigger discipline there, because if they accidentally shoot themselves, they'll just wake up a couple hours later. But here, yeah, again, bad trigger discipline, keep your finger off the fucking trigger. Yeah, figure doesn't seem to be on the trigger, but it's still inside the trigger guard, that's bad. His doesn't seem to have a trigger, but he's also flagging this guy's liver right here, which is not good. So yeah, horrific gun safety, 0 out of 10, do not recommend. They're also not pointing at the same thing. Oh, that looks like, oh, that's Mizuki, I think. Because I know she has a very distinctive look. I'm not sure who this is, though. I don't know who that is. Oh, that's Frogan. I don't know who these two are. I'm not sure who that is. And I'm also not, I want to get a better look at that. Is that Kirsha? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure who these people are. But I actually really do like the animation here. Again, I know it's AI generated, but it actually looks pretty nice. And the color scheme is really good too. The brown contrasting with the bluish white actually looks really good. Yeah, I'm not recognizing these people. Oh, is that Mentis? Oh yeah, Mentis Tours, that's Mentis Wave, okay. Yeah. Okay, and then I will also criticize the punch there had almost no impact to it. But then, that being said, that's actually not a thing unique to AI animation. A lot of animation seems to have trouble with actually making punches look like real punches, but yeah. I don't know who that is. I'm not sure who that is either, but it looks like she's dressed like Reimu, which is interesting. Let's see. Leaflit released a video where she explains all the references. Oh, yeah, okay, I might check that out. I don't know if I'll watch it today, or if I'm going to watch it on stream or not, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I would also be curious just to see how some of this stuff has actually been made, because I know she used AI to create it, but I believe she also used it as a tool as opposed to just letting AI do all the work. So I'd be curious to see how much of this is actually human and how much of it is AI and how much is kind of a mix of the two, because that's probably pretty interesting. Because again, I think AI should be used as a tool, not as a replacement for creativity. Oh, wait, was that? I think that was, I think that's Legal Mindset. And I'm still liking the music. Oh, fucking cockroach is coming out of his head. That's great. But yeah, again, the harmonies are sounding pretty nice as well. I'm really enjoying that. And I think that's Hasan, but it just looks like Harry Potter. And I'm assuming that the boxer is like kind of like put the fries in the bag, that kind of thing. I don't know, though.
Go ahead and report me. I'm an irrelevant retard.
Is that Joseph Stalin? Okay.
Right.
That looks like Johnny Depp, maybe?
That's what you
Because I know that Asmongold got a lot of popularity covering the Johnny Depp trial with Amber Heard. So that's probably that. Let me see, who's that? Is that Fat JD Vance? that might be the JD Vance meme. Although I'm not sure who the other guy is.
But you're still watching. You're always
Welcome back,
watching.
Watoa.
It is what it is.
Okay, so that was that was Leaflit's video. Music video. Put them in the box. I know there was a lot of stuff I couldn't really talk about because of my no politics rule, but overall I actually enjoyed that. I think it does feel like it had a decent amount of actual creativity going into it, and the AI was used to essentially enable that creativity as opposed to being a replacement for creativity. Which, again, as I've said before, my thing with AI is that at the end of the day, the toothpaste is out of the tube. AI is not going to disappear, and any attempts to fight against it as a whole are kind of futile. So the best thing to do at this point is to try to encourage a more ethical and artistic use of AI to actually make it, have it be used in an ethical, good way, and actually be used to enable creativity as opposed to just, creating AI slop, essentially. And ultimately, I feel like this is a good example of that. The lyrics were funny. I didn't get all the references, but the ones I did were kind of entertaining. The music was, decent, not anything super special, but I enjoyed it. And overall, I think this was a great time. I had a good time with it. So yeah, for those watching on stream right now, I will be leaving the link in the chat, so please do go check that out. And for those watching on the highlights channel after the fact, I will be leaving the link in the description. Please do go give it some love. We always appreciate the original creators here on this channel, and Leaflit I think did a pretty good job with this. And yeah, so that's for those watching on the highlights channel. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in a couple days with a new video.